Hi, I'm Charles Frazier for Community Report. We're joined today by Evelyn Gill, who is a candidate for the Knox County Commission seat in the 1st District. Evelyn was fortunate to win in the Democratic primary, and now taking place, for the next few days, is early vote or voting, and then, of course, the general election is
August the 4th.
Evelyn, we want to thank you for
August the
taking
4th.
time out of your busy schedule and coming to visit with us, of course, to make this presentation to the community. And I know Evelyn, and Evelyn is a school teacher at Carter High School, a lady that's worked hard in the community. And if you're fortunate to win this seat on August 4th, what are your plans over the next 4 years?
Initially, I think I'll just simply begin by listening to what people want in the 1st District. There are competing priorities because there are limited resources in terms of our city dollars. But I think that's where we probably need to begin. This is a large and diverse district, and we need to hear what the constituents want. Obviously, some of the priorities are Magnolia Avenue, Burlington, your school system, the relationship with both city and county to make sure our work is being done, and making sure people have the genuine investment in the 1st District. Because the 1st District is not just downtown, it is as large and as varied as any other council district is. But in terms of the level of resources, we seem to be on the lower end in getting some of the things done.
Well, I would tend to agree with you on that point. And then you look at our community, and
Yes.
you look at Magnolia, it's really become a disaster. I mean, there are so many businesses closed, and the city is looking at investing funds to give it an uplift in terms of its presence, the lighting and all that.
Right.
But I would like to see the city and the county to make an investment in a business fund where people could not only be taught how to do business well, but to be able to borrow some money to do some businesses.
And I think that's a good start, but I think we do need a strategic plan. I think part of the investment in the Magnolia Avenue project will leverage some of those dollars, but I think we need a community conversation around what should take place. I mean, one aspect of Magnolia Avenue doesn't define the entire Magnolia Avenue. You still have a lot of work to do in terms of economic investment in that area to not only bring or leverage additional public and private dollars. You also need to have a plan of which somebody can wrap their hands around. And I'm not saying the plan is an end all. I think we need a blueprint for what the community would like to see Magnolia Avenue look like. And then that then spills over into Park Ridge, Park City, Burlington, and help define East Knoxville as the gateway to what should be your core center, because downtown is already saturated. We need to begin to look at how to tie cultural, economic, educational, and neighborhood community investment into leveraging what Magnolia should be.
Well, you campaigned in the 1st District, and again, you were fortunate to win the nomination as a Democrat. You have an opponent coming up as a Republican. What have you learned from the people of the 1st District through your close association the last few days or a couple months?
One, that they're concerned the way the 1st District looks like. 2, people are concerned about the affordability of housing in the 1st District. And 3, what are we going to do with our schools? Because the 1st District has the largest number of schools, both elementary to college, in any other district. And there has been some conversation surrounding the equity issue that the NAACP filed a complaint with the Office of Civil Rights. How are we going to invest those dollars as we look at Holston, which is going to be impacted by it? And I'm talking about operational capital from the school system. And what occurs when Gibbs Middle School opens? But I think the greater conversation is, what do we do with our young people when they graduate high school? Because they certainly need the opportunity to stay in the community, to go to college, and then work.
Well, you're someone that's been close to the educational system as a school teacher for a number of years. What can be done? What are you going to work toward?
And here's one reason why I'm running for the commission.
Okay.
The commission controls the school board, the funding dedicated to schools.
Right.
It is a large amount of money
Right.
that probably needs to be looked at in terms of how are we expending our financial dollars to best capture what those students need. We're going to need to look at that. And if we are not investing our money in the manner in which it is beneficial to our communities, we need to change it. And that then will begin the conversation, especially the core dialogue about what it should look like. 4 years ago, it looked like one thing. 4 years from now, it should look differently. And that really is going to be your economic engine that helps build the first district.
Well, it's a transition, a lot going on, a new superintendent. 1 year interim, and then one will be appointed by the
That's
school
correct.
board. And yes, the
Correct.
budget for the county through county commission is the largest budget in
It
the
is.
county.
It is.
So the money, I'm with you 100%. It's a lot of money spent, so we need to analyze and be very analytical.
That's
are we
correct.
getting the most bang for our buck?
Yes, and that's where the rubber really meets the road, because that's where your outcomes are. So you can't have such a large amount of money being invested in a community and your outcomes are poor, or we don't have those resources in terms of infrastructure, technology, teachers. Obviously, you don't have the actual administrators, and I have to tell people, the school may be a physical building, but your infrastructure is measured in the students and your parents, who are your stakeholders, who will define your community.
Well, you are a school teacher at Carter.
Carter, South Doyle, and here is a real core question.
Okay.
In terms of having the appropriate resources and for minority students to have interaction with your minority teachers. We struggle in Knox County in having enough teachers to fill those slots. So there is a real issue in terms of driving economic development, of hiring people who want to teach and be leaders in our schools.
Are expectations where they should be from the teachers and administrators?
It's in the past, the conversation with the past superintendent has not met the expectations. We have an interim superintendent, and his open letter to teachers and administrators was an excellent start to make sure not only do we listen, but we act upon those recommendations, and we welcome it.
Well, I have to be very candid from knowing you for a number of years. You live on Linden Avenue.
I do.
Okay. You walk through the community.
I do.
What do you see? What can be done? If Evelyn is elected the county commissioner for our first district, what can Evelyn do to impact that Magnolia area? And what do you see?
Love that question, because I tell people I live on the corner of Linden and Chestnut. And really, I should say I live on the corner of opportunity, because we live, and I'll explain, 1 block from Magnolia, opportunity and advantage. And for those that have stopped by to speak to me, I live between what was Walgreens and the old KFC. We live at the intersection of an opportunity for East Knoxville. I want to help impact not only the health disparities in the African American community, because Magnolia really is the largest equalizer the city has that is untapped. And see, that is our opportunity. But it also brings about the advantage of being so close to downtown, so close to Interstate 40. We have the diversity in terms of housing stock. We have the diversity in terms of population. And we clearly have the campus of the University of Tennessee and Austin East High School, and a center location where we must take clear advantage of that. I can't define that vision. The community must define that vision. I want to have an impact in terms of having walkability on Magnolia Avenue, the capacity to have bicycles appropriately. We need to look at the beautification of the area, those auxiliary streets that need to be signed and marked. Our sidewalks need to be repaired. Our shoulders need to be fixed. And we need to make sure that the needs in terms of our transportation are met according. And that happens to be the fact that one of your largest areas for public transportation is Magnolia, and that we have the public infrastructure as people catch public transportation, that they are safe and have the capacity to sit down and ride the bus. We have a lot of work to do, and in those pieces to that, we have to make sure the community defines what that should look like, and then we need to have the funding priorities to support it.
Know your husband, Michael, and
Yes,
I want to
him.
tell you, he's been always nice to me, and he has, and from the museum, he says, well, anything I can do to help you, let me know, and I do appreciate that.
Thanks.
So he's been working hard with you on the campaign?
He has, and I think my husband's best contribution can be to say that we live in a community that embraces both of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want you to do me a favor.
Okay.
I want you to look at that camera right there, and I want you to make an appeal to the community. Why should people take time out in this hot summer and vote for Evelyn Gill?
Because you're going to need somebody sitting on the commission that supports whatever your voice is in the community. I'm running because I want to be your public servant. I want to hear your concerns, your complaints, and your compliments. Believe it or not, we are on the same team. I want to be the candidate that responds to your needs. And whatever happens on August the 4th, whether it's me or my competitor, we have to understand one thing. It's going to be our vision or his vision, but we must envision a new community for District 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Evelyn. You articulated your cause well, and
Thank you.
This young lady is extremely sincere. And if I may, I'm going to tell the community. I met Evelyn about 2 decades ago.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if everybody knows the word thespian, but I think it was LeVar Burton, and then you were right under him. You were a big star. Save the entertainment.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Evelyn was an extra in a movie with LeVar Burton, so was I. And we met and, kind of had some good entertainment talking. But the thing that I appreciate about Evelyn Gill is her sincerity. That, she wants to, I do. She wants to listen to the people, and she wants to vote their concerns. And let me tell you this. As a reporter for this community, doing the broadcast of the Austin East football games and doing the MLK Commission and being involved in so many things in this community, which has really been a privilege and some hard work, I'm endorsing Evelyn Gill for Knox County Commission for the 1st District. I encourage you to vote for Evelyn. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Hey, have a great day.
I will.
Thanks. I appreciate
Charles.
you.
I appreciate it. Thank
appreciate
you.
your time.
I do. Thank you.
Vote for Evelyn Gill, Knox County Commission, 1st District. Jim Campbell, Treasurer.